Hi, this is Sam. Uh, Today I'm going to be making two roasts. One, as you see here, is a chicken. And this chicken has been brined. It's actually, our local supermarket sells some kosher hens that are pre-packaged and brined, which makes it really convenient. A little bit more pricey, but sometimes they have specials. Otherwise, if you want to brine, you would probably prepare a simple brine with kosher salt, water solution, maybe add some sweet like maple syrup or brown sugar or both, and some spices if you want to. But it can be pretty basic, and you'd like to soak it overnight. And the purpose of a brine is to give the poultry tender meat, even all the way to the white meat, the breast, be very tender. So every year for Thanksgiving, if I'm in charge of the turkey, I brine the turkey in a more complex brine. And so back to this turkey. So I've taken it out of the package and rinsed it inside and out. Now I'm going to put some spice rub on it. This one is a salmon rub, but it's essentially, all the rubs have very similar ingredients. If I just read this here: paprika, cumin, celery seed, mustard, ancho chili, salt, brown sugar, dried garlic, onion. So, it says salmon rub, but it's essentially just a rub. So I'm going to coat the chicken with this rub. All right, both sides. And I have the barbecue coals firing up outside, where I'm going to be slow smoking this chicken all day. So talking about the smoke. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a smoker at home, by all means, that's all you need to do is use your smoker. I actually have a Weber kettle grill that uses charcoal, and I've developed a technique, and it's well known on the internet as well, where you fire up the coals, put the coals on one side of the grill, and put the meat that you're smoking on the other side. So you're going to get the indirect cooking, like it's baking in an oven. And then for the smoking component, you want some wood chips. Here I have some hickory wood chips. You might ask why I have hickory, or does it matter? The reason I have the hickory is this is what the grocery store had for me. So take those wood chips and you soak them in a bowl or a container of water. Let them soak up the water. And the reason why you want to do this is we're going to be putting these on the hot charcoal in the grill, and we don't want them to burn up immediately. We want them to slowly start to burn away, and that's what's going to generate that nice smoke. All right. So that's the chicken, which we'll come back to as I pick up the video outside. The other thing that we're working on today is, well, let me pause there. As you can see, I'm wearing Gus's fried chicken t-shirt. And the reason I'm doing this is because we're making a poultry, but also it's one of the best fried chicken in the country. Thanks to my friend Brett. He was the one that introduced me to this in Memphis. Brett is an international tax genius. His only fault is going to the wrong school in Ohio. Go Blue. All right, so let's go back to the other thing that we're making today is a slow roasted corned beef brisket. Now, you can get nice corned beef briskets at your supermarket. They generally come in 1 to 3 pound sizes. And I've taken it out of the package, rinsed it off. They usually come with a spice pack, so I've set that aside. And what I'm doing now, it's a combination of a roast technique. And so you see I have the corned beef roast boiling on the stovetop. So it was boiling for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna take this off. Now there's twofold reasons to do that. One is you can accelerate the cook by starting to cook on the boil. But the other more important reason is, you know, these corned beef roasts are pretty salty. So if you boil it, you're taking out some of the excess saltiness in there. All right, so what I have here is a roasting pan or a casserole. You can get those aluminum roasting pans. Those are nice too, the disposable ones. This is a nice little thing. It's a rack for steaming vegetables, or like the buns, you know, the Chinese buns or some Korean versions, in a pot of water with like low water. If you have something similar, the purpose of it is to place a rack on this pan for the protein that we're going to be roasting. And you want to put some sort of liquid at the bottom, about an inch at the bottom of the pan, in order to keep the meat moist while you're roasting this. Usually I just put water, but I just made you know, some nice halibut yesterday, and I have some leftover bone broth which I used in that recipe. So I'm going to be using that bone broth as a special moisturizing treat for this corned beef. All right, now this is what the roast looks like. This started out approximately 2.7 pounds. And I've got it laid out here, fat side up. You can see the fat here. Now I'm going to take the spice pack, open it up, and just spread it on top of the roast. So those spices, as the roast cooks, it's going to start sinking into the meat, add extra flavor. Now I have the oven preheating at 275, and I'm planning to roast this all day for 6 hours. At the bare minimum, you probably want 3 to 4 hours, and if you're doing 3 to 4 hours, you're going to have to increase the heat probably, you know, to 300 at least, maybe 315. So now I'm just going to take some foil and start wrapping this roast up, this roast pan. That way, all the moisture is going to stay inside and get concentrated into the corned beef roast. Corned beef is great. One of my original favorites. You know, I worked at a deli in Michigan that I mentioned before in another video. It was a Mediterranean/New York style deli. So we roasted our own, we had a special roasting oven at the deli, and we roasted our own corned beef briskets, slow roast, and used those corned beef briskets for the corned beef sandwiches, you know, with New York style Reubens and other variations, and it was just excellent. All right, so I tried to kind of bow the top so there's some space on top, but essentially you want to make sure that you've got this fairly well sealed. All right, here it is, and now I'm going to put it in the oven, which has been preheated. All right, that'll be ready in 6 hours. Now I'll see you at the next phase with the chicken starting in the barbecue.